Hey traders, Raghi here, and in this update I want to walk through a current setup. I want to talk about what we're dealing with right now, how we're treating this market that is choppy right now, and then in the premium video we're going to get into how we're day trading, what type of swing trades I'm looking for, and then where the opportunities are in the longer term in terms of the portfolio. But right now 80% of what I'm doing is on the 5-minute time frame. This is the bulk of my day. So I'm going to take one of the windows of opportunity and show you actually two windows. I'm going to talk about two windows here. So what that means is we have a window that takes us to 9, and we have another window that takes us to 11:30, and we have another window that starts about 1:30 and takes us to the 4 p.m., the 1600 close. And those are just some of the windows that we look at in the US session, pre-market, open, close. A lot of the futures contracts, now this of course will not include the IEF ETF, but the futures contracts, ZN, this has been something that has been working really well. I'll start looking at the market around 7 a.m. and I'll look for a psychology that cuts off around 9:30. But what we're looking for are opportunities to take advantage of the hourly price movement range, resistance, support, resistance, right? Support, and looking to see when we enter that zone, what the underlying market conditions are, and if there is a valid trade. The best trade on this screen is actually this buy right in here. The best short on this screen is the resistance level. Now, the reason I say the best buy is this actually had better confirmation, the support. The resistance was okay. I had one reason, one check mark, but the support had multiple reasons to look for that support level to hold. And that is really what we're talking about. How can we find, as I like to say, know your, not just why, but know your whys, right? Simon Sinek's, some of you might have read that book, fantastic book. Know your whys, and the more the better, right? The more whys, the better. A lot of traders will have one reason to get in and one reason to get out, and that could suffice. Oftentimes I'll have that situation, but position size and zones have to be considered within the limitation of not having multiple reasons to think that we could fade a ceiling or buy a floor, right? Fade the ceiling, short sell the ceiling, or fade the buy, get long at the support zone. And that's probably one of the most important things that you can do as a trader. Now, if you have my V-score, if you have my slow stochastic or my sector slow still, which is running on this screen, if you've got the multi-trend or the trade flags, you've got a big part of what it is I'm looking at to make these decisions. And it's trades like this I'm going to dissect tomorrow when we have our Dominate 2022 day trading second webinar, where we're going to have an in-depth trade dissecting and your questions answered. And probably one of the most common questions I get is, Rug, from a time basis, when can we trade? Now, we know, Rug, that you've always talked about your favorite zone being 9:30 to 11:30, but really, what if I told you there's really another, there's actually 5 zones total that you can look at, 5 different times to be a day trader, and that depending on where you live in the world and which markets you'd like to focus on, you can do that. And when it comes to the equity markets, we have 2 really great zones. When it comes to futures, we have 3 additional zones, because it's the way in which the markets are actually available and open. And the idea here is, regardless of where you are, if you know who's awake and you understand the day trading clock and you understand the lines in the sand for that session and the volatility for that session, there's no reason that you cannot trade it. But you need a tool that's going to not be reliant on simply price to calculate open, high, low, close divided by whatever, right? You need time and volatility on your side. And that's the edge that I've had when I start to embrace more of my 24-hour trading life. And this 24-hour trading life, interestingly enough, came from the 24-hour market on the planet. These concepts, these understanding the rhythm of the trading day came from my 20 years of trading Forex. What do you learn when you trade Forex? What you learn is how to better understand how futures and equities are inheriting the macroeconomic policies of other countries, the trends, the price, the volatility. There's so much. And basically, we've encapsulated that into the HPMRs and the day trading clock. And that's a big part. A lot of folks ask me, Rog, what's new about this class? That's what's new about this class, which is coming up Saturday, June 25. What's also new is we have absolutely massively expanded and improved upon the HPMR indicator. And I am super stoked about that because this is an indicator that really has been 12 years in the making. I've been using it since 2010, and back then it was a spreadsheet, and now it's an indicator that plots on stocks, ETFs, futures, and we can trade just about anything. I actually like to scan names that are good day trading names. So one of the things you sort of get along with the HPMRs is a curated group of symbols with the HPMRs applicable to them that I'm day trading and I'm looking for because they've got the right beta, they've got the right volatility, and so that's what's another thing that's really cool. So we expanded and improved the packs to include a number of futures, stocks, and ETF symbols. And we'll talk more about that list, and we'll have a more comprehensive list. But that list is not static because just like the HPMRs have to be updated anywhere from 1 to 3 times per month to keep that very accurate view of time and volatility, so too will the watch list change to make sure we're looking at the very best types of opportunity using this indicator, because that's what I've been doing for well over a decade. All right, so take a look at markets like the bond market. If you're trading it, so what's sort of the takeaway here? If you're trading bonds in 3 of the windows where it's got to be futures, awesome, look at the ZN. But once we start to roll into 9:30 to 4, you can look at the ZN to trade IEF, just like you can look at the ZB to trade TLT. So depending on what time of day, this is where we can start to take the day trading from 9:30 to 4 and start talking about, all right, let's now venture into stock options and ETF options and day trade those. This morning we had a ES trade, and I went back and said, hey, look, you know what? I really could have looked at SPY as much as I could have looked at ES. We also had a trade in gold, and I could have easily looked at GLD for this trade as much as I was looking at GC or MGC. So depending on the time of day, you've got a lot of options, and this is something that this class and tomorrow's webinar at 8 o'clock are going to talk about. What symbols can we use the HPMRs on, and how are those setups happening? And I have a number of examples, recent examples, where we can discuss this. Tomorrow at 8, simplertrading.com/answers. If you can't tell already, gang, I am super stoked about this. This is something that we've been wanting to expand upon, improve upon for years, and it is here. And a lot of you have already been using versions of this and know what it can do. And we're just going to deep dive into it as we go into probably some of the toughest trading many of us have seen in quite a few years. There is a way to handle this, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. All right, gang. Think about what I've talked about in this video in terms of what time of day are you trading? What symbols are you looking at? Are you understanding time's place in your trade setups? Thanks as always for watching and listening, and great comments, great questions. Thanks for smashing that like button, and I'll see you in the next update. Hey traders, Raghi from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.